A reclusive ex-soldier and a traveling chef are both caught in the path of a devastating Texas hurricane, and then the unlikely happens. Watch to discover how one storm changes everything they thought they knew about love, trust, and second chances. The relentless Texas sun beats down on Rob Thompson's weathered hands as he adjusts the carburetor of another broken tractor. At 45, the former Army sergeant has found his rhythm in the quiet predictability of Pine Ridge, population 3,000 and change. His small repair shop sits on the edge of town, where the hum of machinery drowns out the memories that still visit him in the quiet hours. Rob wipes his hands on an oil-stained rag, glancing at the darkening sky. The weather reports have been screaming warnings all week. Hurricane Dolores, a late-season monster churning toward the Gulf Coast. But Rob has weathered storms before, both literal and metaphorical. His generator is fueled, his tools secured, and his modest apartment above the shop stocked with enough supplies to last a week. Meanwhile, 20 miles down Highway 35, Eliana Garcia navigates her bright yellow food truck through increasingly aggressive winds. At 40, she's built a reputation serving authentic Latin cuisine at country music festivals and rodeos across 3 states. Her truck, Abuela's Kitchen, is her pride and joy, a mobile testament to her grandmother's recipes and her own culinary dreams. The radio crackles with emergency broadcasts as Alina fights to keep her truck steady. She's been pushing toward Austin for tomorrow's music festival, but the storm has other plans. A violent gust sends her veering toward the shoulder, and suddenly her engine sputters to a stop just as the first fat raindrops begin to fall. She finds herself stranded directly across from Thompson Agricultural Repair, where a lone figure emerges from beneath the hood of a green John Deere. Rob squints through the gathering storm at the colorful truck, its cheerful murals of peppers and lime wedges a stark contrast to the gray sky above. "Engine trouble," he calls out as he jogs across the road as the wind picks up. Alina pushes her dark hair from her face, frustration evident in her voice. "Won't turn over, and I've got a truck full of food that needs to stay cold." Rob nods toward his shop. "Better get inside before this gets worse. We can figure out your truck once the storm passes." Inside the shop, the storm rages with increasing fury. Elena paces near the window, watching her livelihood sit helpless in the wind and rain. 20 years of building this business," she mutters, more to herself than to Rob. "My grandmother's tamale recipe, my father's salsa verde, it's all in there." Rob wipes his hands on an oil-stained rag, glancing at the darkening sky. "Well, your refrigeration unit runs on 12-volt, right? I can patch you into my generator until we get your engine running." As they work together to connect the power, Alina finds herself studying this quiet man who appeared like an answer to her prayers. There's something solid about him, an unshakable calm that contrasts sharply with her own restless energy. "You don't talk much, do you?" she asks as they secure the connection. Rob shrugs. "Never saw the point in filling silence just to fill it. Where I come from, silence means someone's angry or someone's dead." A ghost of a smile crosses Rob's face. "Army taught me that silence can keep you alive." The conversation flows easier after that. Alina learns about Rob's 3 tours overseas, his decision to leave the military, and his intentional choice of Pine Ridge's quiet rhythms. Rob discovers Alina's journey from her family's restaurant in San Antonio to her mobile empire, her dreams of expanding beyond the festival circuit. "You ever think about settling down?" Rob asks as they share coffee and Alina's leftover empanadas. Alina replies, "Settling feels like giving up. I've got plans. Austin next month, then Houston, maybe franchise the whole operation." Something in Rob's expression shifts. That's a lot of risk. That's a lot of reward. The storm howls through the night, and they take turns keeping watch over the generator. In the quiet hours before dawn, Elena finds Rob staring out at the rain, his shoulders tense with some invisible weight. "Bad dreams?" she asks softly. "Old habits. Still listen for incoming mortars when the weather gets rough." Elena moves closer, her presence warm and steady. "The war's over, Rob. Some wars don't end just because you come home." By morning, the storm has passed, leaving Pine Ridge battered but intact. Rob manages to get Elena's truck running with a new alternator and some creative rewiring. As she prepares to leave, Rob turns back to him. "Come with me to Austin, just for the festival." Rob shakes his head. "That's not my world. Maybe it could be." But Rob has already retreated into his shell, the brief connection of the storm night fading like morning mist. Elena drives away, leaving Rob alone with his tools and his solitude. 3 weeks later, Elena returns to Pine Ridge, not by accident, but by choice. She's rented a small space downtown, testing the waters for a permanent location. The food truck still travels on weekends, but she's building something new, something that includes the quiet man who gave her shelter from the storm. Rob struggles with her presence in his ordered world. Elena's laughter echoes from the town square where she set up shop, drawing crowds Rob has successfully avoided for years. When she shows up at his shop with lunch, he's polite but distant. "Why are you really here?" he asks one afternoon. "Maybe I'm tired of running," Elena admits. "Maybe I found something worth slowing down for." The crisis comes when Elena's food truck is vandalized. Windows broken, equipment damaged, hateful words scrawled across her grandmother's painted recipes. The message is clear: outsiders aren't welcome. Rob finds Elena sitting in the wreckage, tears streaming down her face. For the first time since the storm, his walls come down completely. "I'm sorry," he says, kneeling beside her. "This isn't who we are. Maybe it's who some of you are. Maybe I was fooling myself." Rob makes a decision that surprises them both. "Give me 2 weeks." He spends the next 14 days rallying the community Elena has already begun to win over. The high school principal whose daughter Elena taught to make tres leches cake, the hardware store owner whose arthritis Elena eased with her grandmother's anti-inflammatory soup, the young mother whose toddler Elena entertained while she struggled with a difficult pregnancy. Together, they organize Flavors of Home, a food festival celebrating Pine Ridge's diversity. Elena's truck becomes the centerpiece, but it's surrounded by booths representing the town's German, Czech, and Mexican heritage. Rob coordinates the logistics with military precision, but more importantly, he stands beside Elena as she serves her food to lines of eager neighbors. When the local news crew arrives, Rob does something he's never done. He speaks publicly about Elena's contribution to their community, about the courage it takes to start over, about the strength found in opening your heart to someone new. Later, as they clean up from the successful festival, Elena finds Rob replacing the broken windows on her truck with new ones decorated with hand-painted designs from local children. "You did this?" she asks, running her fingers over a child's drawing of a taco wearing a cowboy hat. "Community did this," Rob corrects. "I just organized it." Elena steps closer. "And what about us? What are we organizing?" Rob's hand stills on the window frame. "I don't know how to do this, Elena. I've spent so long keeping people at arm's length. Maybe it's time to let someone in." Their first kiss tastes like possibility and feels like coming home. 6 months later, Rob and Elena announce their engagement at the second annual Flavors of Home Festival. But more than that, they announce their joint venture, a veterans support program that combines Elena's culinary skills with Rob's organizational abilities, providing job training and community connection for returning soldiers. Elena's food truck still travels, but now it has a permanent home base in Pine Ridge, where Rob has expanded his shop to include a small cafe. They've learned that love isn't about choosing between dreams and security. It's about building something together that honors both. As the sun sets over their small Texas town, Rob and Elena stand side by side, watching the community they helped strengthen celebrate another successful festival. Their love story became the town's story, proving that sometimes the most unlikely connections create the strongest foundations. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your stories of unexpected connections and second chances. And if you enjoyed this story of how love found Rob and Elena in the middle of a Texas storm, subscribe for more heartwarming tales that prove romance is alive and well in small-town America.